Sean, Autotopia LA. This is Stacy with us, and we're digging in on his 67 Nova today. Before we jump too far, I want to throw out the reminder, number one, our podcast is live now, so if you want to check out what we're doing, Autotopia LA podcast channel, we just put our first one up this week. Reminder about our merch, atlamerch.com. If you see something you like it, go buy it, because we don't order a ton of stuff. So with that said, we're going to kind of do what we've been doing recently, give you guys the bullet points about this car. And if you want to get more granular with us to stick around and understand just how much went into this build, well, we'll do that as well. So here's the bullet points for you guys. And number one, try this one on for size. Correct me if I'm wrong, other than paint and body and doing the exhaust, you built this car in your garage as a hobbyist.
Yeah, as a hobbyist in my garage.
So why don't you give kind of the bullet points, suspension, engine, horsepower, transmission, you know, bullet points.
Right.
And then we'll get granular when we do the interview.
All right. For suspension, she's got a full Church Brothers Racing, front and rear, a triangulated 4-linked. It's Detroit Speed mini tubs. It's all tied in with subframe connectors. For the engine and powertrain, it's got a 2011 LS9 that's been cranked up to about 900 horse, about 750 at the wheels on E85. I do the 6-speed Tremec transmission on it with a dual disc clutch. And on the rear end side of it, it's got a TDS 9-inch with a Curry pumpkin in it, 389s with a wave track posi in it, 35 spline axle.
And it's definitely got them Black Widow
And mufflers, 3-inch exhaust with Black Widow 300s out back. And she's loud when you open her up, she's loud.
She's not a quiet one.
Nah.
First thing I got to mention, dude, beyond everything else about how your car drives, you nailed it. Your manual brakes are perfect. I swear, you guys, you hear me go off on this one, and part of it's because I've driven so many vehicles that are powered brake, power assist, manual brake. When they're done right, they all work great. When they're not, none of them work right. None of them. So I'm guessing Willwood was probably a huge help on getting you properly set up on the pedal ratio, bore size, all that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. You talk to them, you tell them, you know, what you got, what you're doing, and they'll tell you the size master cylinder you need. It takes all the guessing out of it. Because
it's nailed, it's so right on point. The suspension you keep mentioning, and I apologize for not knowing that name. What's the company again?
Church Boys Racing. They're out of Ohio, and Chuck Church owns the place. He's done more for Novas than any other company, in my opinion. I know the TCIs and the other guys out there, but let me tell you, Chuck was the innovator in the beginning. He got all the geometry right, all USA built, no import stuff. He takes pride in his work. Absolutely love his product. You know, will always be a fan of it, and the customer support is you know, next to nobody can touch it.
Yeah, that's great, man. Wonderfully. We're driving down LA roads that aren't that great, you know?
You know what's nice about the Vikings, you know, if I want to soften it up, I can make this thing ride like a Cadillac.
Sure.
You know, but when you get spirited, and the trade-off is, you know, you got to be careful now because the car will start to float on you.
Oh my God, your brakes are just wonderful on this car, dude. That's exactly how a manual brake is supposed to be. Well done, man. What a nice driving car. Plus you got your ergonomics right. You know, everything's right where I want it to be. I mean, the shifter, I was kind of wondering when I first sat down, am I going to be reaching for it? No. The steering wheel, am I going to be, like your ergonomics, you got it.
You didn't even have to adjust the seat or anything. You jumped
I didn't.
in. This is the same way I drive.
I sat right down where you sat. Nice. How long has this car been done for?
Roughly 2020, 2021.
Okay, so you've had a lot of time to get miles on.
Yeah, it's got 4,500 miles or 4,300 miles.
I mean, dude, the way this car drives, that was a 50-mile sweeper, effortless. I can't believe you're just a hobbyist, dude. I'm curious, how did you go about learning what you've done?
Many failures.
Is it?
You know, everybody fails until you get it right. You know,
Sure.
and if you get it right on the first time, then you're like, shit, did I do it right? Is it going to fail later on? You know, that's 40 years of building hot rods, you know.
Is that what, you've been doing it that long,
Since
huh?
I was 13, you know, my first Nova was a 67.
I like the ride of it, and I like that it's stiff enough that I know I'm in a performance car. I don't want to ride like a cushy ride, you know? I don't.
I can make it cushy, you know, you can if you want. That's the ride you're looking for. Go up there in a couple of clicks, you're golden, you know?
Like they're fully adjustable, huh?
Fully adjustable, double adjustable they call them, and
Yeah.
you got to ride a line, you know?
Yeah, yep. I mean, this just feels, and then you get sounds like that. This is such a bitchin' car, dude. God, and the sounds. I can't wait to hear you put your foot in this thing, man.
It's like the paint, it changes.
Yeah. And I know you guys, I know I keep repeating myself because you guys, anyone that watches enough, you know when I get excited about a car because it's doing all the right things, you know, makes the right sounds, it feels right. Not one thing about this car makes me feel questionable about our safety. If I wanted to go ballistic, sure, I'd love a 3-point. Where the hell are you going to put it? You want to do a harness, okay, well now you got to kill your back seat, right? So there's, like, no wonder you drove it all the way from Corona today without even a thought, you know? I mean, I would too, brother. I would drive the damn car. Yeah! I like your car. Son of a bitch, that gets down, huh?
Moves.
So that rear end really works, doesn't it?
Dude,
I feel
break that thing.
I feel it just digging. It's squatting and digging.
Buck 10, not bad. Buck 20.
We'll see you at the next spot, boys. The sounds. Why is this shit so fun? I don't know, but it is.
It is. I love it. That was some scratch.
Damn, dude.
That a second gear, just leaving out.
I saw you leave out in second. I was like, I would do the same thing.
First is too low. Just sits there when you.
I'm sure. You're just blowing tires off.
Whoa! Damn! Damn!
So scoot.
God damn, dude! What the hell? Jeez! Oh, this is a monster. Bro! God! Dude, it's like tearing the ground open. Dude, oh my God, I'm holding on for my life right now. Man, this thing is crazy. See, there's cars, you drive them and you're like, oh yeah, this is quick, it has power. And then there's, holy shit, dude.
All right, you guys, we've taken you for a drive. We gave you the bullet points. Now Stacy's gonna walk us through what the hell he actually built here. How clean was the car when you started? Let's go there first. Was it a donor, total donor, or was it a clean car?
It was somebody who had done stuff to it in the 70s and 80s. You know, 327, you know, turbo 400,
Yeah.
you know, 10 bolt in it, old school 300, 350 horse. I think he aged out, got too old, and, you know, dreams faded away.
Have you done a lot of the work to the car yourself?
99%. I did everything except the paint. I've done all the fabrication work on it, built the motor, put the tranny in, fabricated the tunnel, fabricated a triangulated 4-link in it, mini tubbed it.
Wow.
Any other small mods that you
Is that what you do for work? Are you?
pure hobby. And everybody said, you should do this as a business. And I'm like, then I wouldn't do it.
Then you wouldn't love it.
I wouldn't. It's the plumber with the leaky pipes.
I get it.
Fixes everybody's stuff and everything.
Totally get it.
This is my escape. You know, this is what I do. I go out in the garage, tinker away.
Yeah. Well, let's pop the hood and start there, and we'll get around to the body mods and the insanely cool paint. Ah, badass. And you did all this,
In my garage.
dude.
LS9 out of a 2011 Vet. And then I had to modify the crap out of it to get it to fit in this. If you see, it's a non-clip, as most Novas are clipped.
What'd you do? Did you do a full chassis on this car?
Nope, it is Church Boys racing suspension, front and rear. It keeps the sheet metal inner structure, which a lot of people don't like. It's weak, it's this and that and this. But when you beef it up with the Church Boy uses Detroit Speed rack and pinion on there, and they use all their billet arms, and they get all the geometry correct that these cars are always built wrong.
Gotcha.
So they've taken all the crap out of it.
So, but it pushes it all this way with the towers and stuff, so you gotta...
Exactly. And I did the support. I built that just sheer because you got to tie this thing. It's just too much power for this engine bay to handle.
But you actually fabricated that yourself?
Fabricated right in my garage.
Damn.
And,
That's impressive, brother. What do you make power-wise with this?
She's on the math. She's about 900 at the crank and 750 at the wheels.
Brutal.
The E, it's on the 85, and that helped
I
out.
smelled the corn when you
Yeah,
pulled in.
and-
Yeah. What do you go to transmission and rear end on the car?
I got a Tremec 6-speed in it, and then I got a what they call it's an aluminum housing TDS 9-inch, but I have a Curry differential in there. You know,
Nice.
John Henson, who's been on your show.
Sure.
Got his axles and got the pumpkin itself from him, and you know, the rest is history.
Very cool, man. This is the perfect blend to me of like, there's still old school elements of it, but then obviously it's all been modernized for the drivability side of it. There's still something to seeing towers in an engine bay, right? You know?
To me, I call it sexy.
Yeah, and
because
not a firewall that's like,
It's a straight, flat box in there,
Yeah.
and you can put all the engine in the world you want it. You know, don't get me wrong, I dig that stuff too.
for sure.
But everybody always asks me, why'd you leave the stock sheet metal? And I'm just going, because everything's painted and it gives it character. It gives it something unique other than a sheet metal square box in there.
It looks great, dude. It is manual brake setup.
Manual brakes,
Sweet.
4-wheel wheel woods all the way around it, the big brake, 6-piston up front, you know, the 4s in the back.
They're great, and they're great. Their product support's awesome. You know, we know Mike a little bit over there, and he's just a great dude. And this is impressive, man, I tell you. So suspension-wise, you were kind of starting to explain it. So it's a coilover setup
Yes,
then?
it's got Viking coilovers on it,
Yep.
and billet shafts, upper and lower tubular A-arms on it. So you got the good stuff. It's just what's holding the good stuff is the original 1967.
There's still the
sheet.
subframe and stuff in the.
Right, and it's subframe connected, so I got Global West subframe connectors, so the car is still tied in.
Yeah.
And it's tied into the 4-link in the back. Ultimately, when I was building this, I would have loved to got a chassis, but like Roadster Shop wasn't making a spec chassis yet for this, or they were just coming out with it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe the next build, you know?
Yeah. How about exhaust? Because the sound is really good and it definitely blows out a lot of corn. I smelled it hard.
It's got Stainless Works headers on it, which come from Church Boys Racing. They're a dealer for them. In 40 years of building these cars, it's Nova's particular, best fitting headers I've ever had in my life. Well worth the money spent. You know, yeah, you pay for them, but I mean, I was just in awe. But anyways, and did a full 3-inch out the back, and then I got the Black Widow 300s because that's their quietest muffler.
Yeah.
It's a hair even loud for me as I'm getting older.
Well, you know, if you're buying Black Widow, it's like it starts at loud and then goes to obnoxious. You know what I mean? But they don't do a quiet muffler. You know,
that's not in their repertoire.
No. Did you build the exhaust yourself?
That I did not.
Okay.
I actually, this is my third exhaust. I built the first 2 and still not happy. To put 3-inch in this exhaust on this car and then get it up over the axle. So then I took it to Orange County Muffler, who does a lot of hot rods. My buddies have done it. They took it from my collector back, they threw away everything else, and they started from scratch and kept my mufflers all the way out the back, and awesome.
Car sounds great.
Fairly tame and
Car
idle,
sounds
but boy, she'll open up.
Let's go over to the side and take a look. The stance is just on point, man. I mean, the wheels are just buried up in there, but you still got a ton of ground clearance looking at the car.
She's low. I got the new gen wheels, John Henson.
They are John wheels.
They're John wheels. During COVID, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle to get them built because supply chain wasn't there.
Of course.
You know, everybody was taking forever. And
I know my insurance even went up because they said supply chain somehow affected my insurance cost.
Of course.
Go figure that one out.
I got 17.8s in the front, 18.11s in the back, and I got the Toyo R88H. Love the tire. I actually had the Toyo drag radials in the back, and a lot stickier, but yeah, you go through them quick.
Yeah, I'll bet.
There's a 255 in the front, 17, 315, 18 in the back.
Nice. Plenty of meat back there. And you did mini tub it, huh?
Yes, I mini tubbed Detroit Speed mini tub.
Sweet. Is that a fuel cell or?
No, that's a Rick's fuel tank.
Rick's, of course.
Rick's,
yeah.
you know, restomod stuff.
I love these companies that have built such a solid reputation. Like, that's one of them. There's just companies you hear their names more than anyone. Roadster Shop being probably kings these days with what people are doing for chassis suspension components. But
yeah, Rick's good stuff. Been around a long time.
your color's ridiculous and cool all at the same time. I love the absurdity of how bright this color is. Totally different hood, or is it?
Yeah, it's a 2-inch cowl hood, but I did hood vents too. As some of the other guys with Supercharged alluded, you got to get the heat out.
Get the heat out.
That's a must. You know, they creates a lot of heat in there with the blower. But these are actually from a Jeep. These are Jeep that are CNC billet, but I had them powder coated to kind of match the other color silver accents. But these are off of a Jeep. Took a brand new hood, cut the hood open, placed them in there, and there you go.
They look great, and they're gonna, I mean, you're right. Anytime you're forcing induction, you got to get that heat out of there, right? You got to. So you call it ZR9?
Yes, ZR9.
Because it was ZR1 Corvette, right, that had the LS9?
Yes. Took the two together, made ZR9.
It's rad. What is the color green?
It's Candy Irish Green. House of Colors, Candy Irish
I was just gonna say, it's gotta be House of Colors. Nobody else makes this kind of color.
You know, they're the king of candy colors.
Totally. Is the bumper already cut like that, or did you open up the bumper to get airflow?
No, this is a factory steel bumper. These are steel on there, and they're painted. All I did is took the turn signals out. There was turn signals that go in there. So since I'm having the halos on there, that's where the turn signal went. I just said, let me do a little mesh, kind of a pro touring to it, or whatever. And it keeps some airflow going through there.
Sure.
And then I did a little small chin spoiler.
Is that a buy it or make it?
Make it.
Dude, you're really impressive that this isn't your job. You're doing it at the level or even better than a lot of companies that are making a living doing it.
I've had quite a few actually ask to buy one. You know, will you make me one?
I believe it.
And I'm just like, it's a hobby, you know, it's a one-off. I understand one-off now. When people say, that's a one-off, I only make one.
When do you want to pull up in your car and see somebody else wearing the same shoes? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
I've
oh,
incorporated.
and you got rid of these too, right? And isn't there?
Oh, yes, I filled in the vents that go there. It looks cleaner. And it's still, you know, factory wipers, everything still works on them. I love it, you know.
Repop trim, I got to imagine?
All original.
Is it really?
Just repolished. You know, the aftermarket's terrible for this
That's
stuff.
so cool because this stuff doesn't make it sometimes, you know?
And to find good quality stuff, you know, that's still in good shape at this age is, you know, it's like any of these cars.
Sure. I like your door handle choice too.
Yeah, the
That's
Ring
cool.
Brothers, a little subtle.
rings, yeah.
You know, a little subtle change there.
Yeah.
You know, some
Yep.
guys fill in the gas. I got the Ride Tech gas cap. I still like a gas cap.
Yeah.
You know,
and it says Super Sport. Was this an actual SS car?
yes, it is.
It is.
This is a Canadian Chevrolet Nova. So I'll give you a little history here. They only made about 400 of them in Canada, and they imported them into the United States. And this was a 6-cylinder car. They made 6 and 8s for the Super Sports.
Right.
The Nova guys know this. but-
I didn't know they did a 6-cylinder SS.
6, and back then it was a trim package. Super Sport was just a trim package. You
Got
got
it.
bucket seats, you know, and you got usually a floor shift, but there actually been some 3-speeds on the console Super Sports as well. But the Canadian version of this, the reason why they're more unique, I should say, Canada, they painted the firewalls the same colors outside the car. In the American versions, it was all blacked out or whatever. And the tail lights, we got pot metal chrome. The Americans got brushed aluminum. These look like Fezler kind of, if you've seen Fezler stuff.
Yeah.
But these are factory Canadian tail light, the body of them.
No shit. I like the simplicity of this car. More and more, I'm finding myself enjoying cars that still retain what they once were, you know. I like when you walk up on a Nova and you know it's a Nova. You're not going, what the hell is that? Because it's been dramatically
Modified,
changed
changed.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Can we pop the trunk and see?
Yeah.
God, your color choice is just wild. I really like it. Slick. And then I'm assuming panels that for accessing battery.
Yeah, the battery's over here, the speakers are there, fire extinguisher's over here. I've probably popped this trunk 3 times in all the years. You know, I'm not a big trunk guy. Some guys keep it open. It's a trunk.
It's finished, it looks good, who cares? Close
Right.
it, show the car.
Yeah, you know, I'm not driving the trunk, I'm up front.
Which brings us to exactly where we're headed is I obsess on interiors so much because it is where you spend the bulk of your time, right, with your vehicle. God, this is slick, dude. Wow, your choices are really unique, man. Don't even tell me you stitched your own interior.
No.
Oh, thank you.
It says right there, TMI on it. And actually, I was the second guy to get the TMI for this body style. You pick your colors and you order it and they send it to your house. I installed this all myself in the house. 1-piece headliner, easy peasy.
That's impressive. Original positions for everything, just gauge changes, huh?
Gauge changes and a touchscreen.
Add the touch screen, yep. I like the slide controls. It's like the old school, like it once was, you know?
All the wiper, all that stuff's all the factory switches and bezels.
Also, TMI just fits right in.
I made that one. I wasn't a fan of their consoles.
Okay.
You know, it's a preference thing. So I went over there and got some of the same material. I made this in my garage and then put it in there. I didn't stitch it or anything. I had a upholstery shop upholster and it didn't take long compared to this. But anyhow, put my little slide in there, you know, controls.
How about the carpet kit? Did you do the carpet yourself too?
Carpet all myself.
God, dude. You just did a hell of a job, dude.
Thank you.
Really did a great job, man.
I should have told you, this has 1-piece windows. Normally they're all vented.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even
Usually
think-
you have the wind wing.
So I did what they call a vent window delete or a 1-piece window in this thing. Nobody makes a kit. I had to get a mock-up, a piece of cardboard or template, the same size as a glass window, and then took it down to a glass shop. He cut it all out for me, put it in the track. It's got, power windows, so the new relics in there, everything holds it nicely and pulls it up and down. It's a subtle thing. A lot of people say, oh, you're missing. Where's your wind wings? It's a sleeker, cooler look, especially when I roll down the back and you're going.
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
see through the whole car.
Yeah.
And it's just like
True
like a-
no post, all wide open. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like a roadster feel, I guess.
That's a really cool, and you're right, dude. That's a very subtle one where I'm not a Nova guy in the sense of I know every little bit of a Nova, but as soon as you said that, instantly you go, oh yeah, and that's so cool to do that. You guys watch videos of me regularly, you can tell how impressed I am by this car by one thing. The great cars always have 1 or 2 things that I still am able to nitpick. I had nothing to nitpick on this car. He nails it, it tracks straight while it's leaving stripes down the road. It rides down the road great when I'm driving it in a mild-mannered old man sort of way. Everything about this car, in my opinion, is really a perfect car, and the idea that he's a hobbyist. There's shops out there that could learn a lot from our friend Stacy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Want to throw out a reminder, we do have merch, atlamerch.com. The podcast is live now. We dropped our first episode on Monday, ATLA podcast channel. Hope you go check it out, hit subscribe, get notified when we go live, but every Monday at 3 p.m. With that, I say thanks for hanging and watching what we do, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, man. Later.